as many of you can see, I'm kind of doing this presentation in a different location than I normally do. Uh, I'm not in my office, I'm not at home, but because of that, the internet isn't the strongest where I am right now, and I thought it'd be better to record this and then upload it to YouTube and Facebook instead of just presenting and then halfway through having a glitch. So if you're waiting for the stream right now, because as of right now it is 3 o'clock, this is when normally I'll be starting the stream. I'm getting this to you as soon as possible, so it's just a few minutes late. So what are we talking about today? Today's topic is going to be the most important thing you can do as a new game designer. I thought that this was a very important topic. I've seen a lot of great videos about this, so all this information isn't just my own. I'm borrowing some other people's ideas, and I will provide links in the description about where I got this information, at least cite my sources. But if you wanted to know, it's a great video by Extra Credit, and we'll be talking about that as we get into it. As always, I want to start these presentations by talking about why am I doing this? What is my mission statement? If you know Simon Sinek, you know the concept of always starting with why. Always talk to your audience about why they should care about your presentation, your product, whatever you're doing. So I want to talk about my whys here. I have 3 whys. I want to practice presenting. I'm in front of the audiences all the time. I'm on phone calls talking to customers. I'm talking to my team. I have board meetings. I have live streams that I'm doing, and I'm not particularly strong at presenting. It's not my skill set. So I figured if I can do these presentations every single week, I'll get better at it. And this is something I put out there to you too. If there's a skill that you want to get better at, don't hide behind the curtains practicing it. Put yourself out there and try your best. And then the other reason is I want to connect with the community. I want this commitment between me and you that I will be there to talk to the community, help it grow. Even though my role is changing, and you may have noticed people like Alex show up a lot more in conversations about the game, it doesn't mean that I'm away from it. I still want to be part of that conversation. And then the last thing, and I think this is the key reason I'm doing this presentation in particular, is that there isn't enough content out there for people who are making CCGs. There isn't a lot of content out there in general for people making CCGs. There's a lot out there for board games, and don't get me wrong, it's great content. Go check out Board Game Design Labs run by Gabe Barrett. He, in so many ways, he inspires me every single week, and I just want to give that shout out. Put that plug in. If you are a game designer, follow them. But when it comes to content specifically about CCGs, TCGs, I think a lot of new game designers are just too afraid to be in the space, and I get why. I've been in the space for almost 5 years now, and every single day it terrifies me. But if it's something you're truly passionate about, let's create more content out there. Let's make more people talk about the space than just the big names out there. Let's create some of these smaller people who are learning, so you can see who's ahead of you by just a few years and try to have the conversations with them. Okay, so that's our mission statement for the presentation. Before I jump into anything, I always have to give a huge shout out to our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much to Andrew, Gunther, Steven, Will, and Good Time Games for being our top tier Patreon supporters. We have a lot of Patreon supporters, a lot of great promos. Next month's Patreon package is going to have that beautiful Breath of Jalara promo that you're seeing up on the screen. It's such a heavily played card, so getting that borderless full art version of this card is going to be amazing to have in your deck. So when you're playing competitive, it's just such a pretty card. And then also huge shout out to our future leaguers. You have been helping us so much on getting the game to a good streamlined position, to get the competitive nature and all the elements that we're looking at when it comes to the game in a good position. It's definitely helped me a lot. It's helped Alex a lot. So thank you so much to all our future leaguers. Reminder that tonight is our future league session. So at 7 p.m. if you meet up with Alex and the team on Discord, you can be part of that conversations. I'm gonna put a link into the general Discord chat in the description here. If you want to be part of the Future League Discord, then reach out to AG Miller or Sid Q, that's myself, on Discord, and we'll help you get to there. The next roundtable, this one's saying April, sorry of the mistake there. I updated it in the later slide, but it should be May 3rd at 6 p.m. It's the first Monday of every single month where we talk about some of the Future League stuff and everything else we can talk about. I know one of the topics that's on the table for the next month is going to be forethoughts. And it's something that, we've wanted to, the conversation has been there a lot. So we want to make sure we address everyone's concerns and we talk about it some more. All right. So, and there are the two promos you should be getting. If you're part of the Future League, you'll be getting the Olgi and the Hegemon with next month's packages. So for all the people who are wondering where your Future League promos are, they're coming. they're coming. All right, let's get into this presentation. Let's talk about so before we jump into this, I want you to leave a comment below. What do you think the most important thing is? Did I get it wrong? Have you watched this entire presentation and you're thinking, no, Sid, you're wrong. There's something else that should be on this list. Or did I put these in a different order? Because I'm going to be talking about a few things. I am going to talk about what I think is the most important thing, but there's a lot of different schools of thought. And if you think I'm wrong, let me know. I want to have this conversation. So leave a comment below and I will address that. Originally, this was supposed to be a live stream. That's why I said let me know in the chat. We're not doing the live stream anymore. All right. Jumping into this. So the first thing I want to talk about, is it hard skills? Is this the one thing that everyone needs to know? So hard skills, things like math, programming, graphic design, music, art, philosophy, religion, mythology, everything. Is it important for you to know the details about these things? Is it important for you to know these things? Knowing them does help. It is very important. I am very, very grateful that my education covered a wide variety of things. Like in elementary, you cover everything. In high school, I did specialize in a lot of the sciences. When I got to university, I did focus on computer science, linguistics, and literature. But I did look into cognitive science, and that's helped me a lot. I know Alex and I have had some great conversation about CogSci. I know a lot about coding. I'm very, very grateful for those things. And when it comes to something like math, that can help you define your formulas for your game. Being able to know for certain if certain cards are going to break your game or go outside the bounds. And trust me, in a CCG, your formula and knowing statistics and probability help a lot when knowing the strength and power of a card. Last thing you want is someone else running the math on your game and telling you that a particular card's broken because of math. You want to be ahead of the curve when it comes to that. When it comes to programming, even if you're making a physical game like Genesis, programming helps a lot because it can get rid of some of that repetitive task that you have to do over and over and over again. There's a lot of things that we have macros in our spreadsheets that we use to put together all of our information. So being good at programming does help. When it comes to digital games, you'll have to learn how to code. It's impossible. Knowing graphic design can help a lot when it comes to making your simple UI. But at the end of the day, do you have to master these things? Do you have to know everything? No. It helps a lot. It can definitely guide you in a lot of good direction, and you can be knowledgeable about the things you're doing for your game. But at the end of the day, you don't need to master them because you can learn them as you go. So that being said, put aside the hard skills. What you know is great. Continue learning. Always continue learning those things. Don't stop. Then is it luck? How important is luck when it comes to the game design process? I'm going to say, I think it's a lot more important than you may give it credit for. I don't particularly believe in luck. I believe in religion, and I do believe that everything I've got at this point and has brought me to this point is because of Allah and the blessings bestowed upon me. But having these cool ideas, these inspiration, these moments when the right mechanic comes to your mind and things like that, it's random. You can't control it, but there are certain things you can do to help streamline that process. So if you are stuck trying to think of a cool idea or a cool mechanic, it's always possible to just start doing stuff. Start testing out any ideas that you have. And along the ways, as you're testing out your mechanics, your concepts, you may start noticing some things work, some things don't. And you start making notes. And then you take those notes and you iterate on the ideas that you like, you disregard the ones you don't like. Basically, at the end of the day, it's all about just failing as quickly as possible when it comes to a new idea. Whenever you have a new idea, test it out, fail as quickly as possible, and journal as much as you can so that you can come back to ideas and ask, why didn't we continue this pursuit? Why did we try something else? So there's a lot of things you can do to aid in the ability to have ideas and mechanics, themes, but at the end of the day, like, you're just gonna be lucky if you stumble across a great idea, and then it's your job to take that great idea and make it into a reality. Let me just see if I'm missing anything in our notes. If you need a cool mechanic, try everything. Take suggestions. Keep pushing. Keep experimenting. Just keep on trying. And then also take breaks if you're stumped. So Genesis, I've told people I've been working on Genesis since 2003. But it hasn't been continuous. It's not like for the past 18 years I've been working on this game. I've taken breaks. I've taken moments to just relax and learn new things. And as I learn new things, I get a new idea, a new spark of creation. And I start stumbling down that rabbit hole and keep experimenting. So luck, it's important. It's definitely valuable, but I don't think it's the most important thing. Another key thing that I almost forgot this. I actually got this came to me from watching the video from Extra Credit, but it's communication. Communication is very, very, very important. I've worked at a lot of different companies, and the number one issue that I hear in every company I work at, including Haunted Castle Gaming, is that communication is the biggest problem that we face. It's hard being able to articulate your ideas to someone else. Even right now, as I'm going through this presentation, there are a lot of things that are going through my mind of like, this is what I need to talk about. This is how I need to articulate it. But are you going to interpret it the way I want you to interpret it? Not necessarily, right? How do you know what other people need you to know? Like when you're doing playtesting and you're trying to figure out if a mechanic works and someone else realizes it doesn't work, how are they supposed to know that you need to know that information? Communication is a really challenging thing, and it goes both ways. It can be the blocker to something really, really great. So my recommendation is spend time learning communication skills, spend time active listening, spend time just being part of the societies that you are working with. But at the same time, also realize that it is your game, it is your project, and if someone pitches something that to your gut, to your core, to your foundation, you don't think it's right for the game, trust yourself. There's been a lot of people who have come up to me and said, Genesis, the most common thing at the beginning, Genesis shouldn't be a TCG, make it an LCG. I ignored them because I'm more passionate about TCGs than I am LCGs. TCGs, trading card games, LCGs, living card games. Living card games as a genre is very much dying out. I don't hear a lot of things coming out in that space. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not big into the board game space. Then another thing people keep on telling me is, this aspect of the game isn't good. So like the UI or the art or the mechanics or the rules. And there are things that I agree with and I'm going to pursue. There are other things that I don't agree with. And just because I don't agree with them, it doesn't mean that I'm shutting the idea down. A lot of times I will listen and I will take that feedback in and I'll continue to try to grow and iterate off of those ideas. But at the end of the day, it's still your game, but you need to be able to communicate your ideas to the people who are working on your project with you. So again, I'm going to pick on Alex. Everyone knows Alex. If you're watching this and you haven't met Alex yet, do it. He's a great guy. He's helps a lot in the community. So on Discord, AG Miller, or yeah, that's probably your best way to get a hold of him. He's there chatting all the time. And that's the thing. He is communicating with the community a lot. And I think he does a great job listening to everyone, giving them the benefit of doubt, saying, if I don't agree with what they're saying, I need to first assume I don't know what they're saying. and get them to dig down and elaborate. And then after elaboration, if I don't understand them, try to put myself in their position. Alex, I think he's a great listener, great person to work with communities. So communication, definitely key. Is it the number one thing? No, we gotta keep going. There's more. This is a big one. Playing other people's games. When I was starting to be in the design space, I was in game design, but I was talking to people who were in other forms of design, graphic design or UI design, and different spaces. And there was this one idea that someone told me, and it stuck with me for so long, and it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It doesn't matter what discipline of design you're in, there's certain fundamentals that stay the same. And this one idea worked really, really well. And it's the 3 C's: competitors, comparables, and corpses. Sounds a little morbid, but what are these? Competitors are people who are in your own space that you're trying to steal their market share. You're trying to steal their audience. You're trying to take things from there. Those are your competitors. Comparables are people who are in your adjacent space, and you're not trying to poach their players, but their players or their communities or their audience has a lot of similarities to your own audience, your own players, your own space. And they're really good because they'll help you think about ideas that your competitors may not be thinking about. So, for example, one of the ways we actually, let me think. One of the things we actually look at when we were trying to build the sideboard, for example, this is rules that we're still developing. We have one that's in the rulebook. If you read 3.0, we have the lock and show method. We know that may not be the final, that may not be the option for all time, but it's an option right now. And we're trying to find what are other spaces that we could do something similar, or what are other games. And we actually looked at things like basketball and football. But if you think about basketball, not everyone on the team is playing all the time. There are people who are sitting on the bench. You can consider those people as their sideboard, and they do swaps as the game goes on. What does that mean for game? Can we convert a similar concept into Genesis? What do miniature games do? If you play Warhammer and you're in a tournament and you realize that your army isn't where you want it to be against your opponent, what are your options? Do they even have options? And it's good to look at your comparables to figure out what ideas work and what ideas don't. And the last section are corpses. These are people who are directly or would have been your competitors, but before you got to the space, they have already failed for one reason or another. And my mentor, the person who I learned this from, he said, you're going to learn 10% of the best information as you can from your competitors, 5% from your comparables, and 85% from the corpses. Those are the people who have failed. And if you can understand why they failed, then it's very important for you to not make the same mistakes, right? So, big thing here. So study your competitors, ask why are they doing what they're doing, know your comparables, what are other people outside of your space doing that you can borrow from, learn from the corpses. If they failed for reason X, don't do it yourself. But at the end of the day, you're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You have an opportunity to learn from other games, other concepts, other genres to do something that's unique in your own space. Don't just assume that because someone is doing something a particular way, you have to do it that way. We've gone against the grain a lot of times, and we've gotten a lot of hatred for it. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, we're trying to do what we think is right for our company, for our game, and it's okay to experiment and try something new. So, if you were to ask me years ago, what is the most important thing? This is what I would have said is the number one most important thing you can do as a game designer, especially if you're brand new to the space. But times change, and I've grown, and I've learned a lot. So, what is the most important skill? I would do a drum roll, but I'm terrible at it. But the most important skill that I think everyone should do, or everyone should learn, is everything. Then this is literally the slide that I took from that extra credit video. It's everything. Everything is valuable as a designer, as a game designer in particular, because at the end of the day, and they put it best, I'm going to be paraphrasing them, but they said, at the end of the day, you're a game designer, you are trying to create an experience. And the only way to create experience is by having experiences. The most important thing you can do as a game designer is to live life. Don't just do the same thing over and over again, but be able to take a step back and appreciate the moments you have and go experience new moments, do new things. If you are afraid to go dancing, let's say, go dancing, experience it, because that's going to give you an opportunity to know a new emotion, a new moment, a new thing that you can incorporate into what you're designing. So a lot of the new concepts that I'm learning in Genesis, a lot of it comes from like, I'm going to take, for example, the storylines that we're drawing on. If you're reading some of the storylines, a lot of those characters, the griefs that they're feeling, the pain that they're going through, they're experiences that either I have or someone really close to me has had. So going through those experiences can be very, very valuable when it comes to trying to create something unique, because only you go through your own experiences. So my biggest advice, if the one thing you should take away from this, is try new things, and that's what's going to make you a better designer overall. Just live life, experience it, and then bring that into your game design. My mantra in a lot of what I do is learn, pivot, keep moving. Everyone who's worked with me on Genesis should have at one point or another heard me say that. And the idea here is that whatever you do, success or fail, you need to learn from it. You need to incorporate your learnings into what you're currently doing. So you pivot at that point, and then you start moving in this new direction. You just keep moving forward, because that's all we can do in life. It's just always move forward. I break that down into whatever you are wanting to design. If you decide you want to design a card game around dancing, I bring up dancing because that was an early inspiration for some of the stuff for Genesis. Or Genesis itself, I really like the inspiration of combat fighting. You bring that in, you start testing it as quickly as possible. Don't get married to your idea. Don't be afraid to put your project out there for other people to start testing, getting their feedback on it. And then once you figure out what works and what doesn't, you start making those pivots that you need, and you just keep moving forward. And another thing that I see a lot of game designers do at this point is they get analysis paralysis. They have so many ideas that they don't know which one to move forward with. Just pick one and just start doing it. And every time you make a mistake, you have a regret, make sure you're writing it down or doing something with that learnings that you can then carry forward in some other space. All right. I know that was kind of a lame answer. I don't know how you feel about it, but this is the one thing I wish I could go back in time and tell myself about, is that the more I had experience of during university, during high school, the more different games I had experienced, the more different moments I had experienced and grasped, the better I would have been as a game designer. I would have gone and done that, and I think it's really important if you get the opportunity to do as much as you can. All right, that's everything for this topic. Just my wrapping up thoughts here. So upcoming events, every Monday we got Meta Mondays. Every Tuesday you got Exploring the Libraries. I need to put here every Thursday North of Exile puts out a video on their updates. So check them out. Great people, big supporters of the game. We're getting a lot of people coming in to support the game, a lot of new content creators. I know DM Armada put out a new video recently, so that was great to see. So if you are looking for Genesis content, feel free to go check out those other content creators. We do these game design talks every Friday. I'm probably going to do the recording. I don't know how you felt about it. Let me know in the comment below. Did you like it as a pre-recorded thing? Would you want me to do them as a live stream? Do you want more conversation in this, or do you want to just learn and move on, right? And then Friday nights, Future League testing with Alex and his team. Go join them. We have a Future League tournament, or a next Tabletop Simulator tournament is going to be happening on April 24th. That's at 2 p.m. Akasha Codex, next chapter is coming out on April 19th. I just read it over. It is so good. Carl is such a good writer. Give him huge kudos whenever you get the opportunity to talk to him. And then the next town hall, this is what I was saying, is May 3rd at 6 p.m. So join us for that. We also have the current contest going on. If you are not part of this contest, you should be. So unfortunately, you do have to be 18 or older. But if you're 18 or older and you want to create your own card to put into Genesis, sign up. You still have a few days left. I think it's until next Friday, where we'll be closing things off so Alex and I can start reviewing it. So you just sign up. You get the opportunity to start pitching some ideas. We're going to go through all the ideas in the last 2 weeks of the month. We'll start doing some elimination, start critiquing some of the ideas, letting you know what our thoughts are. Where did the cards fall a little short? If you're wondering why I haven't commented on the thing, I've read all the ideas that have been pitched. But if you're wondering why I haven't commented on them, it's because I'm waiting to get all the ideas so Alex and I can talk about them live and give you our feedback about those things. And also not to call people out too much. I want to anonymize those ideas and just talk about them as a general concept. So come join us for Tuesday nights when we do Exploring the Libraries. Sorry we missed it this week. Again, internet issues. But hopefully next week we'll be able to put that together and put that out there. So join this contest. If you need more information, again, that'll be in the description. And then if you haven't seen the post, go check out the blog. Check out about JLR 2nd edition. I am so pumped for the set. It's going to be amazing. So that's my last announcement. A lot of cool things happening on our end. If you want to learn more about 2nd edition, go to the Genesis website, go under sets, and then you'll find more information there. Next week's topic, I want to talk about rarity in card design. This is actually something that showed up onto Discord recently. A bunch of people were talking about it. I wanted to throw my hat into the ring, but then I realized, you know what, this could be a pretty good topic to have as a live stream. So we're going to talk about my theories behind rarity and game design, why we don't apply it to cards before we start designing the card. We actually apply it much, much later on in the process. So that's everything for this week. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you, we'll see you soon. Alright, let me put up this, transition this over. I'm also gonna say, I know there's a lot of stores that their logo is not part of this rotation thing. If your logo's missing, I'm sorry for that. Oh, core's missing in the running background thing. I'm sorry about that. So if your logo's missing, I will work on trying to get that updated. We've just been kind of swamped in the past little while. So that will happen soon. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters. Thank you for watching this video. Remember to leave comments below, and I look forward to hearing what your thoughts are. Bye.